Council of the City of Central Falls. It is Monday, May 15th, 2015. Time is 5:01.
Thank you. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Terry,
Present.
Councilman Costa,
Present.
Councilman Figueroa, present. Councilwoman Fonseca,
Present.
Councilman Rivera.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. I received 3 phone calls asking to raise an objection that this meeting was not properly notified. It is not a legal meeting with no notification going out as an open meeting 72 hours beforehand. My understanding that because of the notice or the lack of notice, except for this afternoon at 11:30, I've been informed that this is not a legal meeting and that I would only question that any action taken by introducing any ordinance or taking any further action may jeopardize the budget process, and I would recommend that this be rescheduled and properly notified.
Thank you. Clerk, so noted. Any comment?
Councilwoman Rivera,
Present.
Councilman Solano.
Present.
At this time, Council President, we'd like to go to the pledge of allegiance.
Okay, right. I
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council President, the next item on the agenda is the fiscal year 2018 city budget addressed by Mayor James Diossa.
thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I do object. Wish a legal opinion.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining me on this special occasion. I'd like to take a moment of silence as we all learned that Sonia Race, who is our city clerk, her husband's brother, passed away. He was a Providence firefighter and is currently at her brother-in-law's place. So, a moment of silence. Council President and members of the City Council, distinguished guests, department directors, and above all else, my fellow residents of the great city of Central Falls. It is an honor to stand before you to formally submit my budget for fiscal year 2018. While I have stood before you every year for the past 5 years to deliver my budget address, today is a special occasion. This is the first budget we will consider and adopt as a city no longer under the oversight of the bankruptcy court. It makes me very proud to say without any hesitation that together we have succeeded in building a stronger Central Falls. Together, we took responsibility and acted, complying with all measures imposed by the court and dealing with the resulting consequences. Our success to date is a story of resilience, of community, and of hope. It would have been easy to simply cut and cut and cut without any regard to the lives these decisions impact. It would have been easier to simply say, sorry, it is what it is, and we don't have any good options left. But thanks to your leadership, we took a very different approach. We brought in all stakeholders, reached out to the community, and listened. We worked hard to find new and innovative ways to get things done. We built and strengthened partnerships, and we went after philanthropic and federal funds to do what we could not afford to do. While we were at it, we created a solid foundation for the city's fiscal future. In fact, Central Falls has received national attention thanks to the big improvements in our bond ratings. From Moody's and Standard & Poor's, after the bankruptcy, we were considered junk bond status. But today, our bond ratings have consistently improved, demonstrating that we are on track to ensuring that Central Falls is sustainable for years to come. It wasn't easy. There were no easy fixes. We listened to the experts, and people have taken notice. In fact, Moody's recently published a report that gave the city an upgrade by one notch, from BA2 to BA1, and gave the city a positive outlook. The other credit rating agency, Standard & Poor's, recently raised our long-term bond, rating 3 notches, removing us from junk bond status and moving us to investment grade. They stated that, and I quote, "Central Falls is operating under a much stronger economic and management environment since emerging from bankruptcy in 2012, I end quote. Now that we have demonstrated that the city of Central Falls is on a sustainable path with good governance and sound fiscal controls, we must continue to redouble our efforts to improve our residents' quality of life, expand our local economy, and truly make Central Falls Rhode Island's greatest city. That is why I'm calling on you to support this budget, a budget that makes important investments in our families and ensures our fiscal progress through the application of a tax increase of 1.5%. This budget reflects my commitment to the current exemptions that benefit our homeowners, seniors, and veterans. In this budget, let us continue to invest in our youth through our Parks and Recreation Department by adding capacity to programs and more community events that serve children's needs as we continue to plan for a community center and even more green space for our parks. Let's continue to invest in our city's economic potential through our Planning and Economic Development Department by creating new economic development opportunities at the landing and positioning our city to make the most of the new Central Falls protected train station. The train station won't just make it easier for people to get to Boston, it will usher in millions of private investments, and we need to be ready to seize this once-in-a-generation opportunity. Let's continue to invest in our families through strategic health and wellness programming, led by our Office of Health. Currently, we continue to connect our residents with resources such as primary care doctors and await the building of the new community health center that I know will be a game changer for all. Let's continue to invest in our public safety to ensure that our fire and police department are equipped properly to best respond to the needs of our residents, and that they continue to nurture relationships that have community policing a great success in our city. Let's continue to invest in our Public Works Department to continue the amazing job of keeping our city clean and presentable, as well as maintaining our infrastructures with upgrades where needed. And last, but certainly not least, let's continue to invest in our future by fully funding all our annual budget requirements, such as OPEB and pension payments, and by setting aside money for a rainy day. These are responsibilities that we have met and will continue to meet because there is no other choice. Failure to fully fund these responsibilities over the years will help bring the city to its knees and cost us dearly. But we have learned from the mistakes of the past, and we have moved forward together, and for this I thank you all. Additionally, we are vigilantly preparing for whatever may come. We will continue our fiscal practices of setting aside 1% of the total budget for unexpected urgent expenses. If the funds are not used for this purpose during the year, they are transferred to our capital fund. Also, we will continue to fund 0.5% for an internal reserve fund for any small issues that may occur during the fiscal year. This year, however, I want to take this a step further. That is why this budget includes the formal creation of a rainy day fund of $2 million. I am specifically asking you to modify the existing ordinance that creates a reserve fund to make the longer stronger so that I or any future administration adheres to the language and maintain an amount equal to 10% of the previous year's budget in this reserve fund to be used only in the case of an emergency or economic downturns. I am also asking you to strengthen the ordinance so that any spending of this fund must require a supermajority vote of the council. Ultimately, the money in our budget comes from you, the taxpayers. We owe it to our taxpayers to ensure that every dollar is used in the most transparent, effective way possible, that we are not short-sighted, but instead prepared for the long term, and that we are held accountable for our actions. We should not repeat the mistakes of the past. The bankruptcy process has been a long, difficult road, yet we have emerged stronger and more united as a city. Ultimately, a budget is more than dollars and cents. It's about priorities. It's about people. Every dollar spent has an impact on our residents, and we must never forget this. Our residents must always come first, and we must continue to do everything possible to keep them involved and engaged in the process. By continuing to work together with everyone's input, we will ensure that the city's financial stability continues for generations to come. I truly want to give a shout out to all my directors who work so hard every single day and laser focused on my vision of a strong, responsible Central Falls. Mr. President and honorable members of this council, I respectfully urge you all to pass this budget before you. Thank you.
President, next item on the board is submission and introduction of the fiscal year 2018 city budget.
So received. Thank you. Motion for adjournment.
Mr. Chairman, I go on record of objecting to this meeting
Thank you. I'll make it.
and wish a legal opinion.
We have a motion by Councilman Solano, seconded by Councilwoman Fonseca. We stand adjourned at 5:15. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you very much.
Good to see you.
You told the right guy.
Hey, how are you? I'm so happy. Going so good.
Yeah.
Yeah,